Hi there, I'm Holly. I wanted today to go over really quick just a few ways that you can use props that you have around your house to make your body happy as you do your yoga practice or any other stretching or maybe even in any other class that props might be necessary. So I'm going to start really quick with just some common ones that we had at a yoga studio. You'll find yoga blocks. Now, yoga blocks are fantastic to use if you're doing things on, let's say, like a low lunge, right? Like this, they can go up high. Okay, they're fantastic to use like that. You can also use blocks to support under your knees. You can use blocks when you're laying down. I like them underneath my calves like this. And when I lay down, it just makes my low back feel pretty happy like that. Now, yoga blocks, if you don't have any, you don't necessarily need to order any or go buy any, although they can be found relatively inexpensively at places like TJ Maxx and Marshall's. If you're here in the States, you can find stuff like that, Target, Walmart, but you can find them on Amazon, or you can use pretty sturdy books that you might have, hardbound books. You can go to a thrift store and get some books and kind of duct tape it together. So you don't have to necessarily get blocks. You can find a way to just hack it at home. So these are common. All right. Next common thing, I have all my supplies right here. Blankets. Now, again, these are Mexican blankets that we had at my studio. Blankets are fantastic to use similarly to the blocks under the knees, under your knees when you're laying down, under your knees when you're sitting, right? Like this. You can sit on top of them. I'll go sideways right now. These are folded up pretty high. And if you find that you have tighter hips, one or both, maybe your knees are up high like this if you sit cross-legged and you want some support. So this is where the blankets would come in really handy to shove underneath your leg. But also sitting on them, I'll sit sideways. If you sit cross-legged and you want your buns to be half on and half off the blanket, so you're doing an intentional anterior tilt, meaning your pelvis is like a bowl and you're pouring the water forward. So that's okay. That helps to get the spine long. You can sit on a couple blankets if you want. They can either be completely stacked or partially stacked. So the key is really to just make this be as comfortable and as accessible for your body as possible. It's hard to relax if your body's not comfy, right? So if you don't have blankets, don't worry. Maybe you have a beach towel. Same thing. Doesn't need to look pretty. Just shove it underneath wherever you need to. And they're super functional. So you can also use, instead of blankets, I'm just going to keep throwing everything over there. You can get a pillow. Put it underneath you. You can sit on it, right? Same thing. Now, if you like support for under your head when you're laying down, think of when you're laying down, if your chin is pushing up more towards the ceiling, the back of the neck muscles there are probably tight. So what we don't want is to be, I'll use these, we don't want the head to be having the chin tucked. So this is too thick. Even though it feels kind of comfortable, we're going for a flatter spine. So if you're going to use a pillow or a blanket, consider using something relatively flat, just enough to give your neck some support, but so that your chin isn't jutting upward. So that can be helpful whether if you use a thin pillow or a beach towel or blanket or whatever you want. And then lastly, I love these little nifty, squishy little knee oval pad things. Again, you can find them there. You can't really find them necessarily at places like Target or Walmart. At least I haven't seen them, but you can find them online for sure. I love these things, and they're kind of new into my toolkit for my own practice. These are great if you have sensitive knees, and where if normally being on your hands and knees, if your knees are cranky about that, you could just put these underneath. I would use both of them, even if it's just one knee. That way your body stays as symmetrical as possible. And so then you would just keep your knees on them, and it gives the nice little cushion. They're thick enough to where, and dense enough, that's kind of more the appropriate term, I suppose, dense enough to where your knees aren't going to smush down like like kneeling on a marshmallow. We don't want that. That doesn't help. So these have some density to them, so they feel good. I think they're like maybe $15 on Amazon. One other thing, when you're folding forward. So I have open hips. So getting forward like this doesn't bother me. It's not intense on my back. But my body, I do this for a living, and my body, I was born flexible. So we all have our own, issues in our bodies and physical limitations, and that's fantastic. I mean, not necessarily fantastic that we have them, but fantastic that we're all individual. So using these tools are what helps your body get more comfy. So if folding forward is a challenge, makes your body unhappy in whatever way, you can put your hands on or arms on blankets. You can put the hands on them out in front of you more. You can do the same thing with the blocks if you like. You can really bunch them up a lot. I mean, getting creative, so that you can be in the fold, have your back relaxing, and not feel like you're forcing it. A lot of times people will go into a fold and they'll try to fold deeply forward, and then they're forcing it with their back. Their back's going to be long-term cranky over that. And also then the shoulders get up high. So we want to try to make as much softness through the body in these more passive stretches, and using these tools can be super helpful for that. One final thing, if your knees, talking about cranky knees, if they don't like being crossed like this in such a deep bend in the deep level of flexion, you can always take a leg out. Easy peasy. It's not ideal, but what is ideal is you having a happy body. So also, you can throw a blanket, a towel, whatever, underneath your leg if you have any sort of knee issues. If you have sciatica, for example, as well, which is a cranky sciatic nerve at the back of your leg. Having straight legs isn't ideal when you're stretching if you have sciatica. So here's another way to help that out, to keep a bit of a bend in your knee. All right, that's it. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, don't ever hesitate to reach out to me, and I can see what I can help you come up with to get your body in the happiest way it can possibly be. So you'd email me at tadaywellness@gmail.com. All right, everybody, have a great day. Thanks for being here. Bye for now.